Hey Caroline,
Hey,
it's so nice to sit with you and be able to talk about Colorado real estate issues.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what's new in tenant landlord world?
Of course. So recently, as of last legislative session, the legislature passed a new security deposit statute. And so really it went in and it revised the old statute that said can't deduct for damages beyond normal wear and tear. Now we've seen them go in and broadly revise that definition of normal wear and tear to include some things that make it a little harder as a landlord. Namely, I'm going to just read from the statute as to how they've revised normal wear and tear, because it means deterioration, damage, or uncleanliness that occurs based upon the use for which a rental unit is intended or reasonably and typically used. So again, we're seeing it contemplate some uncleanliness that wasn't there before.
Okay, let me ask a question. So if I'm a property manager or a landlord, what are the key things that I need to keep in mind when I'm doing a security deposit disposition now?
Of course. So in prior leases, there might have been a provision that allowed you to automatically deduct for cleaning fees. That is expressly prohibited under those new revisions.
Okay.
What we are able to see is that you're able to deduct if the uncleanliness is substantially different than the pre-occupancy period. And so landlords are really going to need to do a great job, and I'm going to keep hitting on this, to go in and document the pre-possession condition of the property, because without that record, it's going to be very hard to justify certain deductions, especially for cleaning.
So help me understand, what do I need to do specifically to try to document to support a deduction like for cleaning, for example?
Of course. So photographs are a great use of documenting the pre-occupancy condition, as well as that little move-in checklist that you most likely are giving your tenants, I'd hope. And then from there, making sure that you go through that with them, have a date by which they have to return it. But also, again, if there was a cleaning invoice from prior to them taking possession, making sure you document what that looked like and how much that cost. And again, just really doing everything you can to create a record as to what the property was before tenant moved in.
Okay, that's very helpful. And then what do I need to have in terms of a move-out record to support that the deduction is proper?
Yeah, so you're still going to have between 30 or 60 days, depending on what the lease states, to go in and get your estimates, get your bids if there is damage beyond normal wear and tear. Those estimates and bids still need to be included. If you are going to have a reduction, those now need to be included in that statement. And again, that needs to be sent out within 30 to 60 days of that lease term ending or them forfeiting possession. And with what you're able to deduct for, there are also further restrictions as to carpet cleaning, as well as paint deductions. They're looking very strictly as to, is that just a deduction? Are you trying to make money back? And one of the key things is if it has been irreparably and substantially damaged, again, comparing it to the pre-move-in condition.
Okay, so that's the standard I need to meet, irreparable and substantial damage. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. What else is new about the new tenant landlord security deposit statute?
Well, you're also now required to do a walkthrough. So, and that's kind of, the timing's a little bit odd there. So when a tenant has moved their items out, but before the lease term has officially ended, the landlord must conduct a walkthrough. Now, that can be conducted in person. It can also be conducted via video electronics. We're thinking FaceTime or Zoom or over Teams. But then also, if the landlord wants to request it, they are able to do so, but it's a different language. It's no longer the must, it's just that it can occur.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Of course.
We'll try to maintain up-to-date and compliance with this statute. Thanks for walking us through that.
Of course.
We're going to have a chapter 2 where we talk in greater detail about new tenant landlord stuff. Thanks for tuning in.
Sounds good.